visitors, welcome students and staff. Please stand for the presentation of our colors by the U.S. Army Human Resources Command Ceremonial Honor Guard. Please remain standing for our national anthem. Join me in saying our Pledge of Allegiance. Attention.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Welcome to Heartland Elementary's annual Veterans Day program. We first want to say thank you and welcome to all our visitors sitting on the floor today. This day is truly an honor and a gratefulness for you, so we thank you again for being here today. There are a few other people we would like to thank because without their assistance, this program would not have been possible today. First of all, we want to thank the U.S. Army Human Resources Command Ceremonial Honor Guard, our grateful PTO under the direction of President Tiffany Chitwood, Hardin County Educational TV, the Heartland Singers under the direction of Rachel Wade and assistance with Miss Waters, our video presentation with the assistance of Heather Goodman and Rachel Shipp, our Family Resource Center Coordinator Rita McMillan, and of course all Heartland Elementary students and staff. Again, this has been a true effort from everybody, and it's been a truly pleasure getting to do this in honor of these special people that are here today. At this time, we are going to have our Heartland Singers singing Military Medley, where we'll be honoring and recognizing the various military branches. So if you would, when you hear your anthem, if you please stand. Thank you.
Off we go into the wide blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here we come, soon to meet our thunder. Atta boys, give her the gun. Down we dive, starting our flame from
this time, we have a video presentation we would like to share with you. They are of pictures of various veterans from our students here in our audience, as well as staff members. At this time, we have one more song from our Heartland singers titled America the Beautiful.
Above the fruited plain.
As you are aware, the military caste is filled with symbolism. As you entered this morning, you may have noticed a small table in place of honor on our floor. This table is to remember those who answered the call, but for whatever reason, failed to return. This is our way of symbolizing the fact that members of our profession of arms are missing from our midst. They are commonly called POW, MIA. We call them comrades. The hats from each of the services: Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard remind us of the unity of purpose shared by our comrades in arms. This table, set for one, is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his oppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose, displayed in a vase, reminds us of the families and loved ones of our comrades in arms who keep the faith, awaiting their return. The red ribbon on the vase is reminiscent of the red ribbon worn upon the breasts of thousands who bear witness to their determination to demand a proper accounting of the missing. There is salt upon the bread plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they await their loved one's return. A slice of lemon is on the plate to remind us of their bitter fate. The glass. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us. The chair. The chair is empty. They are not here. The single lit candle reminds us of the eternal flame of life. May the memory of our fallen comrades be with us always. The Honor Guard member will now render a salute in honor of all POW MIAs. Please rise for a moment of silence as we remember those who are absent today as prisoners of war or missing in action, to those who served so honorably, who were lost or are still unaccounted for.
Thank you. You may be seated. William Cox was originally from Melbourne, Florida, retired as Sergeant First Class in 2010 after 24 years of active duty from the United States Army. A mortuary affairs specialist by trade, he served various leadership positions from squad leader, platoon sergeant, recovering team sergeant, and detachment sergeant. He served with various units to include the 82nd Airborne Division, Central Identification Laboratory, Hawaii, Joint POW MIA Accounting Command, and the Joint Mortuary Affairs Center. His deployments include Operation Urgent Fury Grenada, Operation Just Cause Panama, Operation Desert Shield Desert Storm, Task Force Falcon Kosovo, Operation Iraqi Freedom. He led POW MIA recovery missions in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Papua New Guinea, Albania, France, and North Korea. He currently serves as a Senior Mortuary Affairs Specialist Identification Section part of the past Conflict Reparations Branch Casualty Mortuary Affairs Operations Division. He is directly responsible for assisting families of soldiers missing from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam who have been recovered and identified. He meets with the families and then makes the arrangement for these soldiers to be buried with honors at a location of the family's choice. He is married to the former Stephanie Lang for 13 years, and they have 3 children. Meredith, who is living in Elizabethtown, Charlie, who is a student at Bluegrass Middle School and graduate of Heartland, and Miss Gwen Cox, who is currently a 5th grader here at Heartland Elementary in a Mr. Schartzer's class. I am very humbled and very welcomed and honored to welcome to our podium Mr. William Cox.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. I want to thank the chorus. I was in chorus from 4th grade to 12th grade. I love choir. It's a lot of fun. Had a blast. I want to thank the honor guard from HRC. They have a normal job, so they're working, and then they practice and they work very hard after hours to perfect and to do the things that they did here, and I just really appreciate that. I also want to thank Miss Campbell, Miss Goodman, Miss Wade, and Heartland Elementary School. You guys are an amazing group of people. One of the many reasons that I love Heartland Elementary School so much is because my wife Stephanie and I, who is also a veteran and is currently serving in the reserves, we've been sitting in this audience since 2012 celebrating Veterans Day with you. And the love that you've shown us and with the cards and the videos is just amazing. Over the past 7 years, Heartland and its wonderful students and staff have made us feel welcome and loved. You've invited your moms and your dads, your grandpas, your grandmas, aunts and uncles to services like today to say thank you and to show them that someone cared not just for them as their grandma and grandpa or mom and dad, but because of the service they provided to this country. These men and women stepped forward at a point in their lives and said, I'll serve my country. It may have been for college money, it may have been for a better life, it could have been just to see the world. But they stepped forward. They missed many things. They missed family, they missed sons and daughters being born, nephews and nieces being born. They missed high school graduations, college graduations. Some of them missed the passing away of their parents and their grandparents, but they still served. So it's a privilege to be a veteran. And I got to tell you that not a single person sitting up here or the families that are sitting out there did this thinking that someday in the future somebody was going to have a special ceremony for them. They did it because they loved their country, and they did it because they thought it was important. Some of them only served 3 years, some served 20, some served 30 years, but they still served. So today we're going to talk about what's veterans and what is a veteran. Well, Veterans Day is a federal holiday, and I know you guys have probably heard this. The 4th and 5th graders, I'm sure, have heard this for the past 5 or 6 years. Veterans Day is an official holiday that Congress passed at the end of World War I, because that was the war to end all wars. And it officially started on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Now, since we're in school, we're going to learn 5 facts about Veterans Day, and there will be a test at the end, okay? So just be ready for that. Everybody's got their pen and paper, right? No? Okay, so there's no test at the end of this. All right. So the first fact of Veterans Day is Veterans Day does not have an apostrophe. Now, how many of you guys remember what an apostrophe does or represents? Raise your hand. Everybody. Well, not everybody. Maybe some of y'all haven't got there yet, but you will. Okay, so the holiday does not belong to one veteran or multiple veterans. It belongs to all veterans. And we all know that an apostrophe implies what? What's it imply? It implies ownership, right? So so we don't own, no single veteran owns Veterans Day. It's for all veterans. All right, the second fact is Veterans Day is not Memorial Day. A lot of people get these two holidays confused, and to be honest, some veterans kind of get annoyed when their mistake is made, because what they think is they see it as you're taking away something from a loved one or a dear friend that they've lost in service to this country. And Memorial Day is more about honoring service members who died during war or who died afterwards because of wounds received in war. So Veterans Day is designed to honor all those who've served in the military, whether it's in war or peace. The third fact, it was originally called Armistice Day. World War I officially ended with the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. It was just like Louisville's got the area of Versailles. I guess we call it Versailles over there. Louisville's a little different. I know all you Kentucky fans would say the same, right? Who's a Kentucky fan, real quick? All right, who's a Louisville fan? Well, there you go. Anyway, so it was originally Armistice Day, and it was ended with the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. It was considered by many as the war to end all wars, and that's why it was called Armistice Day. Well, in 1938, it became an official holiday, primarily to honor veterans of World War I. But in 1941, we entered World War II, and in 1950, we entered the Korean War. So in June 1st of 1954, Congress amended Armistice Day to Veterans Day to honor all veterans of wars. Your fourth fact, Veterans Day was in October for a few years. In 1968, Congress signed a holiday uniform bill. Now what this bill did is they wanted people to travel on the weekends. So they moved a bunch of federal holidays to Fridays so it encouraged families to travel more on the weekends. Well, a lot of states and a lot of people didn't like this. They didn't like the change. So a lot of states just didn't honor that day in October. And ultimately, Congress had to change it back. And it was President Gerald Ford on September 20th, 1975, signed a bill changing Veterans Day back to the original date of the 11th of November at the 11th hour. Now, fifth fact. Other countries celebrate Veterans Day in other ways. World War I was a multinational effort, so other countries also were involved, and they celebrate Veterans Day in many ways. Canada and Australia call the 11th of November Remembrance Day. Canada celebrates it, and similar to us, except their citizens wear red poppy flowers to honor the war dead. And every once in a while, we could still see people up at the malls and things like that. They have the red flowers, and they're asking for donations, and then they give you the red poppy flower. Well, that's what it's for. Australia celebrates Veterans Day just like the United States, with parades and different celebrations. And Great Britain calls it Remembrance Day also, but they observe it on a Sunday, the closest day to November 11th, with parades and services. And in the city of London, they have 2 minutes of silence for remembering the war dead, which I kind of find amazing that you're going to get a city as big as London to be quiet for 2 minutes, but it's a way to honor their service members. So that's kind of your 5 facts for Veterans Day. I do want to say one thing about the POW MIA table here. This is an amazing thing, and our country is doing a lot of work to bring our service members home. Every year we average 220 IDs of service members that are lost from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and it's from all the different services. Our country does a lot to bring soldiers home. We currently are working to ID 13 soldiers from the Mexican-American War back in 1840 that were recovered in Mexico. We have soldiers from World War I that we're still recovering and identifying. It's important. It's a bargain that the government and the country made with everybody that's sitting up here, that if anything ever happened to them in a wartime, we would bring them home and we would ensure that their families are given back their loved ones. So this is a very special thing, and it's a very beautiful thing, and it reminds us that no matter what we do, there's a sacrifice and there's a price to be paid. Lastly, I'd like to encourage all of you to find a way to serve your country. It may not be in the military. Not everybody, and I'm sure everybody sitting up here would tell you that not everybody's made for the military. Sometimes you have to be just a little, and tell me if I'm wrong, guys, you just have to be a little bit on the crazy side, right? You have to want to go outside and run for 5 miles when it's 24 degrees outside or when it's raining. You have to kind of want to do that. And not everybody wants to do that. And I don't blame them, because once I retired, I don't want to do that anymore. Matter of fact, Miss Powell and I were just talking about this morning. We said all those guys are out there running and we're warm and dry. But there's other ways to serve your country and serve your community other than the military. There's police officers, there's firefighters, there's rescue workers, there's social workers, there's teachers. There's all kinds of ways to serve your community. And that's what you should look for. You should look for a way to serve and to help others. You should look for a way to better not only who you are, but look for a way to better your community. And lastly, again, I want to thank you for this wonderful ceremony and the cards and the videos and the love that you've shown. As I've said before, veterans never expected this kind of treatment. We never asked for it. And we can never express how much it means to us. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and we see in you the future of not only Elizabethtown, but of Kentucky and of the world. So thank you very much.
It only seemed appropriate, Mr. Cox, to ask you to be our speaker this year, because as he said, he's been a member of the Heartland family as a parent, and as PTO, and as a family resource committee member. You've been a very active part in our school, as you all have been here, you and your family both. And we are going to greatly miss you at the end of the school year. It's bittersweet, so it only seemed appropriate that we had you be our speaker this year as a final way of saying thank you for all that you've done for our school, and thank you for being our guest speaker today. I think your message was wonderful, and that no matter what you do in the world, go out and just make a difference and make an impact. So, which you have definitely done here at Heartland. So on behalf of the faculty and staff here at Heartland Elementary, it's just a small token of our appreciation. You're welcome.
When observing an honor guard during the folding of the flag, you may notice how the meticulous process results in the flag being folded 13 times. You may have thought this symbolized the original 13 colonies. However, each step has a separate and very distinct meaning. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold represents the 50 states of the United States of America. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veterans departing our ranks, who gave a portion of their lives for the defense of our country to attain peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents loyalty. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in the crisis, shrink from the service of their country. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Thomas Paine. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is for where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all her enemies, whether they be found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to selfless service. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, their love, loyalty, and devotion that the character of the men and women who have made this country great has been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the Father, for he too has given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold is inscribed on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. The 12th fold represents equality. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The 13th and final fold, or when the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who are followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today. Veterans, please stand. On behalf of the President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your many years of honorable and faithful service.
If tomorrow all my things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
Again, on behalf of the Heartland students and staff, we want to thank you, Mr. Cox, again, and thank you, veterans, for all that you have done for our country. Without you, like I told us boys and girls yesterday, we would not get to come to school each and every day and enjoy the freedoms that we get to enjoy. We would like to invite you to our cafeteria next door for a light breakfast. Again, we thank you for your time and dedication that you've given to our country. Thank you, and have a great day. Have a great weekend.